The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Mark. When Jesus had crossed again in the boat to the other side, a large crowd gathered around him, and he stayed close to the sea. One of the synagogue officials, named Jairus, came forward. Seeing him at his knees, he pleaded earnestly with Jesus, saying, "My daughter is at the point of death. Please come and lay your hands on her so that she may get well and live." He went off with him, and a large crowd followed him and pressed upon Jesus. Now there was a woman afflicted with hemorrhage for 12 years. She had suffered greatly at the hands of many doctors and had spent all she had. Yet she was not helped, but only grew worse. She had heard about Jesus and came up behind him in the crowd and touched his cloak. She said, "If I but touch his clothes, I shall be cured." Immediately, her flow of blood dried up. She felt in her body that she was healed of her affliction. Jesus, aware at once that power had gone out of him, turned around and said to the crowd, "Who has touched my clothing?" His disciples said to Jesus, "You see how the crowd is pressing in upon you, and yet you ask, 'Who touched you?'" And he looked around to see who had done it. The woman, realizing what had happened to her, approached in fear and trembling. She fell down before Jesus and told him the whole truth. He said to her, "Daughter, your faith has saved you. Go in peace and be cured of your affliction." While he was still speaking, people from the synagogue official's house arrived and said, "Your daughter has died. Why trouble the teacher any longer?" Disregarding this message that was reported, Jesus said to the synagogue official, "Do not be afraid, just have faith." He did not allow anyone to accompany him inside except Peter, James, and John, the brother of James. When they arrived at the home of the synagogue official, he caught sight of the commotion, people weeping and wailing loudly. So he went in and said to them, "Why this commotion and weeping? The child is not dead, but asleep." They ridiculed Jesus. Then he put them out, all. He took along the father's child, mother and father, and those who were with him. He entered the room where the child was laying. He took the child's hand and said to her, "Talitha kum," which means, "Little girl, I say to you, arise." The girl, a child of 12, arose immediately and walked around. They were utterly astounded. He gave them strict orders to tell no one and said that she should be given something to eat. The Gospel of the Lord Jesus Christ.